What's up, guys? It's Crash, and we have a ton of information to get through with Gray Zone Warfare today. And I was lucky enough yesterday to sit in on a Q&A call with some of the devs at Madfinger Games and talk about the game. And what they did is some of the creators that were selected got to submit questions, and they answered a few of those. And we got to listen to those. So I want to go through all of those today. Things are going to be a little out of order, and just overall, it's a lot of stuff you already known, but there's a little bit of updates on timelines as well as some new tidbits in there. So some of this stuff, if you follow along with the channel, you probably already know we talk about a lot of stuff with the game, but there are some new and interesting details in there. And I kind of want to talk to it and react to all the things that they mentioned and where things are at, because, you know, things have changed a little bit since the game has come out, some things behind the scenes. So let's talk about all that stuff today. And then afterwards, I want to hear from you guys down in the comments below what you think of all this stuff. Because as I see it now, I still think the game has a ton of potential and it's moving in the right direction. The devs are staying dedicated and working on a lot of stuff. So let's talk about some of the things that they are working on. And first and foremost, one of my questions was, what is the status of the roadmap? Because you guys know there is a roadmap coming. They said that they are in the process of finalizing it, so it has to be accurate and attainable, right? Like, they don't want to overpromise and then have to do delays, because delays upset everyone, including myself. So they have to make sure that everything they put on there, as well as time frame, is attainable while still showing what's planned. But I think from what it sounds like, the roadmap is very, very nearly around the corner. So it's being finalized right now. And then my other question was, when can we expect ammo and gun balance changes? Because to me and to a lot of you, it sounds like it feels like 5.56 is just it, right? Like, it feels like that's all you could use. They said that they are evaluating the performance and looking into it. Some of the things that they see in clips and that we are able to reproduce, they don't reproduce on their end. And I think it's kind of one of the potential, I don't think it's really a downfall, but it's one of the things that has to be worked through when they're talking the complexity of the ballistic simulation that they have. If you guys have been here since the get-go, you know that ammo has different pin chances. It travels differently through materials. It has a, you know, makes a wound channel. It expands. It ricochets off water, for heaven's sake. So like, all this stuff happens with the ammo. So they're working through it, and we can expect changes in the future to ammo and stuff like that. But they're looking into it, and it can be a ton of issues. And in my opinion, this is me talking, my uneducated opinion is that I think there could also be some server things going on with ammo. There's just a lot of moving parts when you're talking about this ballistic simulation. What kind of changes are coming to AI? This was my other question. I get a ton of questions about AI, is what I told them. You guys know AI is a big issue. So they said AI will be evolving over time. It's currently very basic, and it sounds like update 1 will bring a lot more depth to the AI. They're gonna like run to cover, potentially use grenades, and have a lot more to them other than being just really basic right now. So they're adding that stuff, but they will always be changing going forward. The other thing that he added kind of at the end of the call that I really respected, and this might help you guys a little bit, because I know AI is a sticking point for a lot of people. That Devil Dog, the community manager, one of the community managers, he makes kind of a feedback list of everything that's going on within the community for the week. And he has been putting clips of like crazy AI stuff, like the AI doing glitchy stuff, like the hit reg not count, spinning around one taps. And he knows for a fact that the developers watch that stuff. So it's not like they're hiding in their own echo chamber and everything's great with the AI. They understand these issues, and it's being worked on. And what it sounds like is the first meaningful and big update that we're going to see to AI is going to be in that big content patch 1 in the coming months. So I thought that was like, you know, we want to see the AI fixed right now, but at least the developers know, and they are not being shielded from the feedback. So they know what's going on, and they watch some of the clips from the community about what's up with the AI. Another question was, when will there be new content? And optimization is ongoing, they said. But another follow-up question that was asked to that was, since optimization is kind of taking a while and such a big part, potentially the studio, this is me talking, potentially the studio didn't know they would need to do so much optimization. Is update 1 delayed? And they said, no, it's still on track for their time frame of later on this year. So update 1 has not been delayed. There are separate groups of people that work on optimization versus work on content. So that's both moving forward at a good pace. There are future plans to add a skill system and more features beyond that. So there's a lot of depth coming to that. That's all they were able to share, but I thought that was really cool. Along with some of the helicopter frustration, someone asked about, you know, hearing protection. Is there going to be a keybind or something like that? While they said they do want the choppers to be noisy, like it's immersive, right? You're sitting on the rail of a little bird and that's loud. they are listening to feedback, so they kind of want to leave it the same, but it sounds like they're going to add something for hearing protection. I think it would be really cool, like Deadside does with the airboats. Again, this is my example. What they do with the airboats on Deadside is there's a keybind that you can put earplugs in, so you just pop it, it muffles your hearing. It's a keybind, and we move on. I think that would be really cool and a really nice quality of life thing. There was a question about any other ways to get keys. They're aware of the struggle with keys and them kind of being a quest blocker, and they're identifying problem keys, and they're going to update the spawn rate of those moving forward. So they're evaluating other ways to balance it as well. It didn't sound like they were going to do anything drastic off the bat. Some of the ideas that we put forward was to have like dedicated spawns for some of them, potentially maybe trades, like able to get them in the traders or craft or something like that. It didn't sound like that was a path that they were going to take anytime soon. In the very near future, they're going to be working on spawn rates for some of those problem keys and upping those a little bit moving forward. Another thing that came up is canted sights are planned, and it sounds like we'll talk about it in a little bit more detail later on, but there are a lot of weapons and even calibers coming to the game in the future too. One of the questions was about the red zone, about Ground Zero in the middle, and how far it will go into the paranormal. They're really keeping it hush right now. Basically, all they're telling us about Ground Zero is kind of what we already knew. It's a huge reason why the PMCs are there. It's really big into the lore, and like why everyone is there fighting, why the UN presence was there and all that stuff. And it's gradually going to be unlocked through stories and world events even. So things are going to happen on the map, and stories and stuff. So you start to see we're a long ways from the finish line on this game, and I'm kind of here for it. This stuff sounds really cool, and I hope we can get to 1.0. It's gonna be cool if all this stuff can come together. One of the questions was, were there going to be other ground vehicles? They talked about the idea was put forward as something like an ATV or something like that. I thought it'd be cool to have boats because there's waterways. I thought boats would kind of keep people on the same path, but then use something else. Just a little tip to those of you playing in the game. You can also get in the rivers if you want to and go and walk downstream, and it'll take you at a sprinting pace and it won't take down your stamina. So that's just a little quick travel trip. If you hop in the water, you can move quickly. That just came to my mind. But what they really want is they want people to use the choppers, but also travel on foot to explore things. And they told us this will make more sense when more things are added to the map, right? Like there's not going to be as big wide opens. They're going to add a bunch more POIs and environmental things, as well as like they talked about the bases that people can control, like the controllable bases that factions can control and have traders there and fight against AI for those. So when there's more stuff to the map, it will make more sense to walk places because you'll be constantly like coming across things and exploring stuff. It won't be as much open space. Someone asked about weapon skins and like rattle can camo. As of now, they're not planning like rattle can weapon skins or anything like that. They're keeping them immersive. I mean, rattle cans would be immersive, but they're not doing that kind of stuff. But they are doing attachment variants are coming soon. So you can change the attachments and look of your weapons. So the other thing they asked about new ammo types. I think the creator asked about like 338 Lapua and like 6.5 Creedmoor, some of those other things like that. They started with the ones that are most common, and new calibers are going to be added. One that they did tease was the 8.6 is going to be added. So that's really cool. That's a super new caliber. That'll be pretty sick. But they did let people know that new calibers take a lot of data and a lot of time because of, like we talked about earlier, the complexity of the simulation and everything that goes into that. Someone asked about dog tags. They are shying away from dog tags at this time because the focus remains on PvE, with PvP being kind of organic. They don't want to encourage PvP. They eventually said some things will have to be worked. You might want to work with other factions when we get closer to having Ground Zero unlocked and some of those super late game quests. So people might want to actually try to work together. So they don't want to super encourage PvP. And if there were dog tags, that might happen. So PvP is a thing. It's going to happen. It's going to be there. It's probably even going to happen a lot more in game when Ground Zero is opened, but they don't want to like encourage people to do that. So if that makes sense, I know that'll make some people grumble, but that's where it's at. One of the things that is being added that I thought was really cool is weapon and gear durability. So armor, as it degrades, that will be able to be repaired, and the weapon durability, which is really cool, It's frustrating when it happens to you, but what is really cool about it in this instance is they're modeling it to where there's going to be visual degradation, like scratches and stuff in the gun, so you can visually see that it's degrading and getting used and stuff like that. And I thought that was really cool. It was one of the really cool details that will make it really neat. And then there will obviously be ways to repair that stuff. Someone asked about how weather will affect the day-night cycle. They are going to do the day-night. So this cleared it up for me because I was curious. So the day-night cycle is going to be coming with patch 1. We do, like the main big patch 1. We do know that. But weather is going to be later on, and they're going to share more details when they get closer, how weather is going to affect that stuff. Because I thought, like, how would rain affect it at night and stuff like that? They're going to be kind of in separate updates. So weather is going to be coming later. And to add to the stuff about PvP, they said as Gray Zone Warfare progresses, like the game itself, they will introduce new features, capturable outposts and Ground Zero that will even require or encourage cross-faction interaction. So some of that stuff is coming that will change how you interact with other people. The quest system will be improved to add faction quests and give more people stuff to do. So the 150 or whatever quests that were at launch is just the starting point. There will be more quests. And I thought faction quests was something I personally hadn't heard about yet. So you'll be working on as an entire faction. So starting to get more, they're talking about more of those MMO things that are coming later down the road. Someone asked for a rangefinder because that'd be cool with snipers. The map is huge. You could get some really cool ballistic stuff going. And figure stuff out with holdover and things like that for snipers, but that is not in the plans for rangefinders right now. Level 4 armor is being added. It will take some time with helmets and plate carriers and stuff like that. They also, to go along with that, they're gonna have to do more ammo, right? Like we have seen some like 995, M995, 556 ammo. That's a lot of fives, sorry. That has been seen in some trailers and some early on stuff like that. So they have to add ammo that can handle level 4 armor, right? So they don't want people to be like juggernauts out there. So basically the way I look at that is like we're adding another tier of progression, like a little bit more progression. I think that's good to where you work up to where you can unlock the level 4 stuff as well as the ammo that can handle level 4 stuff. So that's coming down the pipeline. They definitely confirmed that. Another thing that's going to be really cool is shareable waypoints. So you'll be able to share waypoints with your squad. The other thing, they took it a little bit of a step further down the road. We're going to be able to draw on the map. So if you want to talking about your squad, maybe you want to highlight a route that you guys want to take to go into Tiger Bay or something like that. There's a certain route. You'll be able to draw on that thing like John Madden. Watch what you draw. I know what you're going to want to draw. Be better. Be better. You can do it. The other thing is they're working on more environmental changes and differences between POIs, but they didn't somebody asked about more biomes. They didn't mention there's going to be more biomes. It wouldn't make sense to me to have more biome stuff, but environmental changes are coming to the map. Inevitably, we have to talk about console. The goal is to eventually get to console. That is in their plans, but it could be, in my opinion, much later. It sounds like what makes sense to me, again, this is me talking, they're gonna get the piece. I feel like it could be a couple years down the road. That's my personal opinion. That's not what they said. What they did say is the PC version is the priority. They have to get that in a good place, working place, feature rich, like pretty close to the end of the features that they want to, and stable. And then they're going to look at console, which makes sense. They can update and iterate faster on PC. Then once they have a stable build, port that over. So that is the plan. If everything goes well, console is in the future, but I would say distant future. AI questions. Someone asked if they're going to be like AI patrols, like Recon Breakpoint, like Ghost Recon. He said that Mara, the lead designer, wants a living world with AI doing stuff and patrolling. So like doing stuff during the day, having jobs and tasks that they do. We heard about this in the build up to the game, and then returning to the base at night. So that will encourage night ops and things like that. You can expect the AI to interact with that. I hope that comes with patch 1, but that wasn't said explicitly whether it was or not. And someone asked about the next time that we will see, or what's the time frame on the next patch wipe. So asking about that first big content update, the patch 1 that's going to wipe stuff, day-night cycle, other things like that. He said they are cautious about setting dates, but their goal still remains to do it every 6 months with new tasks. That's a tough word. New AI, new weapons, and more stuff like that. So that's that 6 month window and cadence that they're working for. We asked about new guns and new calibers and stuff like that. They said that there's multiple ones coming, but the only teaser we got was pretty lame. It's a fan favorite weapon. One of them is going to be a fan favorite weapon. So when he said one of them is going to be fan favorite, that means there's multiple ones coming. So definitely a good thing. Someone asked if the Ground Zero will be a PvP focused zone. They said it will be very high traffic and in games, and the factions will need to work together. And again, stressing that faction chat was coming, but it's not going to be explicitly designed for PvP, but it's going to be really high traffic as people get later in the game. So it's going to be a pretty hot zone all the way around. Someone asked about a favorite for loadouts. I thought that would be really cool. Something I've wanted to see a long time is like loadout presets, weapon presets and stuff like that. That's not something that's going to be in the near future, but they did say they want to keep an eye on things as vendor content. As vendors get more content, more things, they want to give us kind of the UI tools to deal with that. So it's not out of the question. They're not working on it right now, but I'm hopeful later down the road we get that, but it doesn't sound like it's in the immediate future. When a wipe happens, what will happen? They haven't fully nailed this down. It doesn't sound like, but I would guess, me talking again, I'm trying to be clear about this, me talking, a full reset will likely happen. They basically want people to start fresh so you can experience all the new content at the same time, right? And how it affects progression through the game. And then last but not least, I think we've talked about it on the channel before. I don't know, I'm old, I forget things, but it sounds like teammate dragging is coming for sure. It was actually in a prototype pre-launch, but the animation still needs some work, so it hasn't been added back in. But the bones of the mechanic are there and programmed. They just need to work on some animations, and then there will be teammate dragging. So that'll add another layer to gunfights. That'll be actually pretty cool. That'll be pretty cool to see. So that was everything, and it just sounds like more of what we have been hearing. That if they can get this game to their vision, I think it's going to be really cool, and I feel like that it's going to happen. You know, hearing the numbers of copies that they sold, the funding is there. And it sounds like they're just keeping their nose to the grindstone and working on these things and trying to stick to the plan and let us know things as they happen. They don't want to overcommit to anything time frame wise or content wise. So I definitely get that. And I know, and I feel this too, there's going to be some negative comments, and I have the feeling too, I'm like, dude, can we go a little quicker? But that's just not the case when it's a studio of this size making this ambitious of a title. It's pretty crazy, in my opinion, if you step back, bird's eye view, and look at what they've already done. If you kind of take, and I know when you're in there, like when you're close to it, when you're in the game and you have some of those things happen, like the AI flip and one tap you from downtown from the hip, and it doesn't make any sense, or you go back to loot your body and it's not there, or the game crashes and you lose your gear, it can be incredibly frustrating. Or you know, if you have a graphics card that's not running the game well, or I know there's some areas with some server issues, and things like that. And it's easy to throw your hands up in the air and say it's a lost cause, but it's really early on, and this dev team is fairly small to take on something like this. But I think they have the skills to do it. I think the work ethic is there, and I really am rooting for him. I'm rooting for him, honestly, that we can get closer to 1.0. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. I make these videos and I get excited about it, but I just wanted to stress at the end that these things are going to take time. I really do, and this is again all my opinions here at the end. I really feel like this game is a marathon. It's not really a sprint. So it's going to take some time, and I think for those of us that are going to work through it together, like over my Discord, shout out to my Discord, man. There are some awesome people over there testing things. We have Gray Zone Warfare devs that are now in the Discord checking out the feedback that you guys are posting. So that's super sick. Just know that they're listening, and they're working on things as they can. And I really think for those of us that stick around, or for those of us that stay tuned to a channel like mine and follow this game along, and it comes to a point where you guys want to hop back into it, and eventually as we get to 1.0, I think the game is going to be really cool. If they can complete their vision and we can get to 1.0, it's going to be really cool. But either way, I'm going to cover it. I love making videos, chatting with you guys about this stuff. This game fits really well into my content style, because I love doing unscripted conversational content with mostly news and a little bit of opinion, and then hearing from you guys down below in the comments. I read all the comments because I am so appreciative that you guys take time out of your day to write something to me. It's incredible. And the fact that you made it to the end of this video is also awesome, and I don't take it lightly. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope to see you on the next video.